Hello everybody, I'm Victor Bravo and I'm with Lithia Subaru of Fresno, and I'm super excited to be doing this video on the 2020 Subaru Outback. Now I'm going to be covering the XT, the Touring, the Limited, and the Premium, and I'm kind of just going to mash them all together so that way you can get an idea of what comes with what trim level. So this car comes standard with Subaru Symmetrical all-wheel drive, which means there's power going to all four wheels from the moment you put it into gear. And that's what separates us from everybody else that's out there in the market. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you stay till the end so you can get all the information that you need on this car before you make a decision on what vehicle you're going to purchase next. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and let's get started. So here you're looking at a 2.5 liter boxer motor. Now the coolest thing that Subaru does is they place our motor perfectly in the center of the engine bay. So if you were to take a great big saw and cut this Subaru in half, the right side will weigh the exact same as the left side. They're perfectly balanced from left to right. And that's what really separates us from all the other manufacturers that are out there. All the other brands, they're putting their motors right here on the passenger side of the vehicle, throwing off the weight and the balance of the car. Another cool thing that Subaru does is they put our oil filter right on top. So if you're a hands-on, do-it-yourself kind of person, it doesn't get any easier than that. I'm sure you've heard of the term V6, where pistons are moving in a V like this, or you've heard the term inline, where pistons are moving like this. The reason why they call ours a boxer motor, because if you think of two people with their backs to each other, our pistons are punching horizontally like a boxer. So not only are our motors flat or pancake motors because they don't need the space to travel vertically, but they're also flat, but they're at an angle like this. Our motors are slanted, so they're taller up at the front, and then as they go back toward the firewall, they get lower. The benefit of that is if you were to get into an accident, the engine is designed to drop to the ground. Our car always uses the motor as a ramp. When the motor drops down, it goes under our cars. Now the traditional V-style motors that move like this, or inline where they move like this, their motors break through the firewall and end up on people's laps. That never happens to Subaru owners, and that's the difference. So the cool thing about our headlights is Subaru calls this a Hawkeye headlight, and there's an LED strip here, and our lamps, they're stereo responsive headlights. So what that means is if you're turning your wheel to the left, then the lights go to the left. If you're turning your wheel to the right, then the headlights move to the right. So if you're going around a corner or a mountain, the light's going to get there before you do, always giving you the best visibility. Now on the Limited and the Touring trim level, you're also going to get high beam assist. And basically what that is if you're going down a straight road and there's no cars coming towards you, it's going to turn your brights on. Now once it starts to sense cars that are coming towards you, that light, then it turns your brights off, always giving you the best visibility. Just another cool safety feature that Subaru has to offer. This is the wheel pattern for the Limited trim level. There is 4 anti-lock disc brakes. There's no more drums in any of the Subarus, and I love the black finish here. It's awesome. One of the cool things that Subaru does is they put our side mirrors here on the body of the car. It's not covering this whole corner section of the window, making a big blind spot. Now a lot of the manufacturers, they put that there, and it's hard for the drivers to see out of it. So the reason why Subaru puts it on the bottom is so that drivers can see people on crosswalks and cyclists. Always giving you the best visibility, which is amazing. Look at how big this opening is. Now our doors open to almost a full 90-degree angle, which makes them super easy to get in and out of. In the industry, we call this A pillar. This is called B pillar. This here is C pillar, and this is D pillar in the back. The reason why Subaru is able to get our pillar so thin is because they use more high tensile strength steel, more boron steel than most of the other manufacturers that are out there. All the other guys, they're using more aluminum in the frames of their cars. Since it's softer, they have to use more of it, bigger pillars, which is harder to see out of, which equals more blind spots. So if you were to take a saw and cut this pillar in half, you'll see a piece of steel this big. Inside that is another piece of steel, and another piece of steel, and another piece of steel, until it's a solid bar. So if you were to ever get T-boned by a car in this vehicle, as the steel collapses on itself, it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, which is amazing. Come around over here and take a look at our roll cage. So this roll cage right here is what protects our cars. Now this down here, this big bolt is called an engagement pin, and that engagement pin gets locked into the frame of the car. So if you were to ever get T-boned by another vehicle, there's a boron steel bar that comes down here and it drops into an L and it locks in. So that will hold its position from the car that's hitting you to prevent it from going into the cabin where you're at with your family. Always giving you the best safety, which is cool. Now this back here, they call it a C-shaped light, and I love it. It looks so cool. And the black against the white, the contrast is just amazing. These back here, these are sensors. So they do give off an auditory sound on the inside, so if you didn't pay attention to that sound and you didn't hit the brakes and something's back here, the car's going to stop for you. And that's called reverse automatic braking. So the crossbars did get a little bit of a redesign. We now have these tie spots here, which are amazing. So with this little lip right here, if you pull that up, there's a little rubber stopper down here, and that way you don't scratch your paint if it does hit the top of the car. But that one locks into here, that one swings, locks into this position here. Now there's a little tool in the back that I'll show you. So if you wanted to take this crossbar here and put it into this position to make a bigger distance, that way if you're carrying something that is really long, there'll be less teetering because there's more space in between the bars. Those little those lines that you're seeing, those are heaters. So when there's ice making the blades stick to the glass, those heat up really quick, so you get longer life on your blades, and warming up in the morning is really quick. If this is your first time owning a Subaru, this might take you some getting used to. They put the gas tank on the passenger side. They do that for two reasons: shorter lines at the pump, and if you're ever stuck on the side of the road, you're not trying to put gas in where cars are zooming by you. Now, in 2020, they got rid of the release to open up the gas lid. So now, as long as the doors are open or unlocked, this is automatically going to be unlocked as well. So you just push it and then it opens right up. But if I was to lock the car, this will no longer open. So just remember, unlock, it opens, lock, it's locked. We have an 8.7-inch ground clearance, and we don't have any big bulky boxes or transfer cases that hang out under our cars. So if you did go off-roading, you don't have to worry about things bumping the bottom of the car or scraping the bottom of the car, because there's nothing to scrape down there. I want to talk to you about symmetrical all-wheel drive and what separates Subaru's all-wheel drive from everybody else that's out there. Most of all the other manufacturers that are out there, if you pay that extra $2 to $4 grand for their all-wheel drive system, they're still front-wheel driven, meaning all the power that the motor creates goes to the front wheels. Now, once those wheels slip up front, then it can kick the power to the back wheels, but only if you're going 25 or 27 miles an hour. So that's why all the other manufacturers, they could never climb up an icy or a dirt road, smash the brake, and then continue to keep going up. They always roll back because they don't meet the minimum speed requirement for their all-wheel drive to kick in. If you are going to open up the trunk lid from the key fob, you're going to have to hit this little trunk lid button for 3 seconds. And the reason is, so if it's in your purse or in your pocket and you accidentally just bump it like that, you're not going to just pop open up your trunk. So I'm going to hold it for 3. And voila, there it goes. Okay, so let's talk about the rear compartment. This is wide and it's huge, so you could easily put things in. So even though Subaru has the highest ground clearance in our segment, we also have the lowest points of entry. So as people and pets get older, they have less of a height to put things in, which is awesome. So if you come down here, they give you this little hook, and that way you can put that on the body of the car to free up your hands. So, but I want you to see this. You see the shape of that? That is so you can store this under there, and this is the rear privacy protector. So let's talk about this thing for just a second. There's a little button on the right hand side here. You push that button and then it comes off. A lot of people will ask me, Victor, well, what is this for? Why is this just dangling there? And that's because our rear seats, they recline back. So if it needs to come back, it'll come back. If it needs to be extended, if the seats are upright, then it can come this way, and so that way nobody can peek in and see what you have back here. So this can be stored under here now instead of leaving it in the garage when you need it most. So they recommend you use it during the holiday seasons because people get desperate and break into cars. Let me kind of show you what that looks like real quick. Out of the way. Okay. So let's say if your hands are full, you can just hit this here, then you can put whatever you need back here. You can also slap it, you can headbutt it, you can drop the elbow on it, karate chop it, you can do the 1-inch punch to it, you can do a lot of stuff to it. And it works. So look at how fast this thing drops. No time wasted. Now, here are the tools that come with the car. So it comes with a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips. Here's the jack here, the crowbar for the wheels. Now, this is the tool that I was telling you about for the top up there. So if you wanted to move the crossbar from the original position to a further position to create more distance so there'll be less teetering, this is the tool that you use to do it with. Now, have you ever seen one of these? It's called a pull bar or a tow bar. So basically what you do is you take the screwdriver, you put it on the flathead side, and you come to this little groove right here. There's a little hole. Stick the screwdriver in there, use your finger for leverage, this pops out, and then this goes into the chassis of the car. So if you wanted to be a good Samaritan and help somebody who was stuck in the snow, stuck in the sand or the mud, you can do that by putting this into the car, and you don't have to worry about your bumper coming off because it's going into the chassis. And I'll show you a really cool example of that. Check this out.
You ready? Smiling. You're good. All right,
And then if you lift up this foam here, that's where the spare tire is. Now, a lot of my dirtbag friends will take their spare tires and put them up in a basket on the top of their car and then fill this up with ice and beer and water. There's a drain plug under the bottom right here. Right there. But you didn't hear that from me though. So just in case you're up there in the front and your kids are back here and let's say their hands or their legs or something was sticking out, there's little sensors that pick up any resistance that are back here. So, and you can't even feel it. It doesn't hurt at all. Like there's literally no pain. Thank you so much for checking out my video. You guys, we're well over 1,000 subscribers. I am so happy. Thank you guys for all the support and all the love and the comments that you leave down on the bottom for me. I try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Please continue to do that. Hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell notification so that way every time I upload a video, you'll get notified. So that wraps up the exterior part of the video for the 2020 Subaru Outback. I love this car. In my next video, I'm going to be covering the interior features of the car, what it has to offer and the specs. And then on the third video for this car, we're going to be going on a test drive. And I'm going to be showing you how to drive in town without using your feet, taking advantage of Subaru's eyesight, the blind spot detection, rear cross traffic alert, all the other cool stuff that this car has. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please ring the bell and leave me a comment below. And I look forward to hearing from every one of you. Thank you so much for your love and support.